And they get a gun, sells you for like $20, $30.
Maybe cheaper. Chicago has some of the strictest gun laws in the nation. How could this be?
You have to say that most of the guns are not bought here in Chicago. Chicago have a law that you cannot register a handgun in the city limits, okay? But a lot of suburban areas have the law that you can purchase a handgun in the suburbs.
But not all guns purchased in the suburbs leave the suburbs.
I would fight for my kids and my own safety till the end.
But even legal guns can make it into the wrong hands.
The gun is always kept up here in this cabinet, behind all of this stuff.
Was it late at night when you came in and grabbed that gun? What time was it?
It was about 12:30.
He stole it from his parents. He literally
Margaret
stole
Kachelko's 11-year-old son, Danny, took the gun to school.
Danny, why'd you do that?
Because I wanted to look good like when this other kid brought a squirt gun to school. And everybody thought it was real. So I tried to be better than him, and I brought a real gun to school, unloaded.
So if you made a mistake in all this, it was what?
Not explaining, not discussing it with Daniel, and not keeping it under lock and key.
I'd never ever do something that stupid again.
Do you realize it was stupid?
It was stupider than stupid.
Do you get used to death? Do you get used to living with the fact that you could die any day?
See, I don't worry about that until you get hit by that bullet. See, like, that's just like when people steal cars. They don't worry about getting caught until they get caught, right? And that's the same when we're shooting at a person. I don't think about getting caught till I get caught.
Are the penalties for being caught with an illegal handgun strict enough?
The juvenile detention center can't hold them all. Juvenile might get caught with a gun, and we'll bring him in. He's back home in 2 hours.
So in other words, if they made a law so tough that if you get caught, first-time offender, with a gun, an illegal handgun in your possession, that you'd have to do 10 years, you'd still carry a gun?
Hell yeah.
It must be the values that parents set on children. We need to get our young people back into the churches while they're young, okay? Get them to better understand what life is about.
That's a gunshot.
That's gunshots.
It's on the other block.
4 shots.
Yes, it is. It's over this way. It's right on the other side of this building, Sarge. How many was it?
It was
just one, two of them?
Witnesses say the shooter was a kid on a bike.
Down in a red jacket with blue jeans.
Little baby caught in the crossfire. What do you say?
What can I say?
Anybody feel sorry about it? Anybody feel bad about
sorry for it, but I also feel that they shouldn't have been in the way. Yeah, because they see people with guns, and then they just standing there watching. And then they get shot, their mama's trying to blame it on us.
So you're saying they shouldn't have been there?
No, I'm saying when they see guns, man, they should just move. They just stand there and watch. Bullets be flying off poles, bouncing, hitting people and all that. And then they wonder how their kids getting shot.
Anyway, got gang with guns on the street, 4348 Kimball, 4348 Kimball.
Any pain when I press on your belly, Mike?
It's Saturday afternoon at Christ Hospital.
Michael,
it takes 8 doctors and nurses to stabilize Mike Mason, whom police believe was shot by teenagers.
There's 3 bullets. One in the chest, one in the abdomen, and one in the neck.
So he's got 1 bullet over here. He's got 2 entrances down here and 1 here and here, so something's here.
Down right now. Look where that bullet's sitting.
He's yelling.
Right there.
It's in the airway, it looks like this way.
He needs to go to the OR.
This kind of gunshot wound with multiple bullets is becoming more and more common. In 1988, our average gunshot wound victim had 1.1 bullet. And in 1992, that number was over 2.5 per gunshot wound victim.
Dr. Gary Merlotti.
Right there.
He's the surgeon operating on Mason.
Thyroid cartilage on screen.
Do you find yourself thinking about the age of the person you're working on when it's a child who's been shot?
I've been doing this for a long time. There's only one thing to There's only one thing that phases me any longer, and that's children. To see a 2-year-old come in and with a gunshot wound is just absolutely ridiculous.
That 2-year-old is baby C, who's finally making some progress.
She has shown signs of improvement.
Dr. David Heimovich.
She actually has opened her eyes to command. She has squeezed hands to command, and she recognizes her mother, which is, I think, probably the best signs available right now. I think that she will come out of this.
Does that mean she's going to come out unscathed by this?
Far from it. Far from it. The child has now entered into a different facet of a group of people with handicaps.
Feel the bullet.
Back in the operating room, it looks like Mike Mason is also going to recover. Doctors have been able to repair the damage made by two guns, a 9mm and a .22.
Our number of pediatric gunshot wounds overall has increased by over 70% in the last 2 years. I don't know where the next generation is going to come from because most of the next generation is leaving here in body bags.
Saturday night at Weiler Children's Hospital at the University of Chicago.
You got shot from the front, is that right?
It's just getting wild.
Two boys, 13 years old and 14 years old, who are remarkably calm about the fact they were just shot.
What grade are you in?
9th.
You going to 9th, you going to 10th?
I'm going to 9th.
What happened to you?
Victims of yet another drive-by shooting.
Stuck their head out and started shooting.
We see them young. We see 3- and 4-year-olds coming in with gunshot wounds.
Dr. Amy Sisley.
You'd think they'd be terrified out of their minds, but they're not. I think they just live in such a crazy world that by the time they're 14, 15, they're used to it. They've seen their friends get shot. They've seen their brothers and sisters get shot. They've seen too much violence.
These two boys are lucky. They're going to be fine and on their way home in a couple of days.
You feel like you're just patching them up and sending them back out to the war zone. They get shot again, come back in, you patch them up again, send them back out. It's nuts.
That's the right side there, and the entrance wound is here.
It's the same at Mount Sinai, where they do such a good job of patching up gunshot victims.
So this is the one from this time. Yeah. And that's the one from last time?
That many of them do come back.
Wait a minute, did I hear you right? This is not the first time he's been shot?
Oh, this is multiple times. This is the second time he's been shot.
Now we're seeing him with multiple gunshot injuries.
Dr. Leslie Zahn.
So you're not surprised that this young man, a 17-year-old, already has a bullet inside him?
In this neighborhood, we frequently see teenagers and young adults that have been shot more than once. Sometimes 2 times, sometimes 3 times over their lifetime.
What does a gunshot victim cost? I mean, when these kids keep coming in one after another, what does that cost?
The costs both to society and to hospitals are enormous.
Respiratory service is $27,932, $43,259, $83,130.87.
And Nina Abtahi, an accountant at Mount Sinai, knows just how enormous these costs can be.
Is this one bill for a gunshot victim?
One bill.
All of this?
All of this is one bill. You stretched it out, it's probably a black box.
Altogether, what did that?
Total up, his total bill is $200,000, over $200,000, $220,000.
Is that unusual for a gunshot victim?
No, it isn't.
And does someone like that usually have coverage?
Not all the time.
In fact, only 6% of emergency room patients at Mount Sinai have commercial insurance.
Yeah, you have been shot, okay?
The rest have no insurance at all or are covered by state-funded programs.
Society is picking up the tab for this.
Dr. Gary Merlotti.
Even though you may not get a bill in your mail every month like you do a phone bill, you're definitely putting money out of your pocket to cover this.
And some of those costs continue to add up for years. Most gunshot victims recover, but many require extensive rehabilitation. And baby C will be one of them. It never seems to stop.
No, lie down, lie down, lie down.
The latest gunshot victim is 11 years old. Sharon Rogers was shot in the neck.
It's right under the skin.
There's relief all around when doctors realize that the bullet is just a BB from an air pistol, a child's toy that looks a lot like a deadly weapon.
Did you know the little boy who shot you?
Mm-hmm.
How old is he?
Around 15.
15? Did he mean to shoot you?
Mm-hmm.
He was lucky, you know. He was very lucky. This could have been worse than that.
In a way, all of the 13 young gunshot victims we saw in the 3 Chicago trauma centers were lucky. They survived. All Sharon Rogers and his mother have to worry about is a sore neck. For now, anyway.
Who knows, maybe the next time it'll be a gun with a real bullet, and this time maybe they won't be so lucky.
That was 357, right there with a 25, 30-6.
Still ahead on 48 Hours.
Man, what you push me for? Man, push on me, man.
Surviving the streets.
When are you going to say enough is enough?
One man's mission to keep kids alive.
Well, I don't want to see me die.
What exactly happened?
We were walking down the street, we got some ice cream.
We had just came from the store, and I mean, walked around the corner, him and his friends, and that's when it happened.
I heard 6 shots. It was like it was going real quick, and I was like, oh God.
Okay, Barry, we'll let you know everything that we're doing before you go off to sleep.
He has sustained a gunshot wound to the left side of his windpipe.
We're gonna like get an X-ray. Could we have them like available?
It's hard to believe that it's Barry, because we would have thought it was one of his friends. So, I mean, why they shoot him in the neck? How come it couldn't been his arm or leg or something like that?
It's got an injury that goes in here and it comes out here.
Everybody know Barry. You know, everybody know him. It's like, how would anybody shoot him?
Tell me about Barry.
He's cute. He's funny. He goofy. He play a lot. He nice. Very nice. He's sensitive. He real caring. He look like me. Very look like me. It's like everybody be thinking we twins.
He came in not moving his legs. We were concerned about a spinal cord injury.
It sounds like to me that you're worried about paralysis.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And how old is this victim?
He's 14 years old.
This is where Barry Pearson was hit. It's just a couple of blocks from where he lives. It is also gang territory, where the battle lines are so narrowly drawn that you can get shot for just walking down the wrong street.
Just yesterday, I told my brother, I said, Barry, don't be, going down on 75th and on 76th, because that's what they usually do out in the drive-bys and stuff.
Is Barry a member of any of these gangs?
No. He's just a young boy trying to make a living. He got a nice little job. Barry is my brother. He got a job at the Joe Washington Sports Camp. Graduated from Caldwell School. He just graduated. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
We have suction. We got a bleeder down here. Take a look.
We were able to remove the bone fragments and clean up the dura, which covers the spinal cord, but it's unlikely that he will regain any function.
So there's no chance with this kind of injury that he'll ever be able to walk again?
It's extremely unlikely. I actually told his parents there was a less than 1% chance.
And he's only 14. Basically, his life is ruined.
Man, I like to have some kids, but in this kind of world, this where they living now, I wouldn't want my kids to be growing up in like the way I'm growing up.
So when Barry comes out of surgery, what will you all say to him?
I know what I'll say to Barry when he first get out. I'll just say I love him, and I'm glad he's alive.
Frank James with the Chicago Tribune, and doing a story, in the Holloways and all that. There was a kid shot upstairs only a few weeks ago in this building. There was blood coming down the stairs and all that. So you never know what you're going to find when you turn a corner.
Reporter Frank James has come to follow up on the murder of a 9-year-old boy.
The premise of the story is what happens to a family after something like this occurs, when there's a hole in the family where there used to be a 9-year-old boy.
Guns are everywhere.
Louise Kiernan has been dispatched to report on the death of a 5-year-old.
You think a lot of people around here keep guns for protection?
Yeah.
Did you see that Jeep come up here?
Reporter Colin McMahon is assigned to the shooting of a 2-year-old.
How's it going, sir?
Everybody's got a gun. Damn near everybody's got a gun.
And did he have like a notepad?
Kids killed by guns. It's become a full-time beat for these reporters. The story gets bigger and bigger. Evidence of that can be found in Chicago's cemeteries. Jason House, 14 years old, shot to death while playing near his home. Ernest Kelly, dead at 8, hit by a stray bullet while he was playing in his own backyard. And the 7-year-old buried here last October, Section 10, Row 7, Space 13. Dantrell Davis's death marked the beginning of an old-fashioned front-page crusade by Chicago's largest newspaper that asked, does anybody out there care about all these kids being killed?
We have 60-some children dying in a metropolitan area of homicide in a year.
Jack Fuller, president of the Chicago Tribune, decided that 60 dead children are too many to be ignored or forgotten.
It's an intolerable fact. If you really take it into yourself, what kind of society would simply take a breath and say, well, that's the statistic?
So this year, every murdered child under 15 becomes front-page news in the Tribune series called Killing Our Children.
The natural tendency to back off and to just let people have their grief by themselves and get past that. Because what we're showing the world needs to see.
It makes me feel marvelous that the word is that somebody do care.
Terry Holloway is the father of the 9-year-old Frank James is writing about.
It's something to me that somebody downtown in the big office care what's happening in my life, and he's letting it get out.
I'm going to go down to the scene after I leave the hospital here, and I'll just call in notes. The child got shot once in the head, we think, but we don't know for sure. Well, all we know is the child's in critical.
Colin McMahon is trying to learn about baby C, the little girl shot in the head in a drive-by shooting.
What I need to do is talk to the family, find out about the child, find out about the family.
I see the blood all over her head. At least once a week. Somebody either gets shot or is in the hospital. A baby, a little baby.
Right. There's so many families where I walk into homes and I think, God, you know, they're not that different from, I mean, what happened? What happened in the 20 years? I'm 30. What happened in the 20 years between the time I was 10 and this little boy is 10?
Maybe people want to dismiss things that happen in poor neighborhoods. It's not affecting them, but they do. Is it S-T-E-V-E-N?
Louise Kiernan's story is about Stephen Wright. The 5-year-old who found a gun in his mother's bed.
Did you hear that gunshot?
I didn't hear anything.
Nothing. Was he with his sister or with?
Yes, with my daughter. She woke me up, Mama, Steve shot the gun. I jump up out the bed and ran down the stairs hollering, Steve, Steve, Steve. He didn't answer me.
I think our approach has been thoughtful. I don't think it's been sensational. I think
Anne-Marie Lipinski is deputy managing editor of the paper.
We've tried very hard to make an effort to write these stories in a way that help reach people, even if they don't live in these neighborhoods or they don't know these kids.
He's apparently holding a gun in the photograph.
At the Tribune editorial meeting, the story of Stephen Wright is weighed against the other news of the day.
Okay, today we have a pretty sad story about guns and kids. Apparently last week, her estranged husband left a gun in the house. Her 5-year-old son, Stephen, shot himself in the mouth and is now dead. We think Louise is going to have a pretty good story on that.
With Stephen in Chicago, the death toll rises by 1. For this one day, his name is not forgotten. But can a nation remember all the names when 5,000 youngsters die from the barrel of a gun each year?
It affects all of us, and so we need to get people to understand this is not something that they can be numb to and deny, and it'll go away, or they can stay away from. It affects us all.
All right, let's get started.
12-year-old Deontay Wilson has a lot of dreams.
Acting. I want to be an actor. And besides that, I want to be a minister. You know, to hurry up so we can have prayer.
But Deontay lives on Chicago's west side, so mostly he dreams of feeling safe.
There's constantly shooting. Tack, 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 tack. Pow, pow, pow. If you don't feel safe around your home, where can you feel safe at? Let me help.
Deontay has 3 little brothers.
Ricky is the oldest out of my little brothers. And Renato is my mother's little baby. And Reginald is the baby of them all. He's 2. Eat your pancakes, okay? Come on, let's start praying.
Fear is a part of their family life.
Lord, we thank you, Lord, for just keeping us through the night, Lord, as we slept. Protect us, Lord. I show my brothers as much as love as I possibly can. You sure you don't need any help with those, little bro? No help with them. We're gonna give you some help anyway. Whenever they're going somewhere, I go with them. Or at least, you know, let my mother know and she goes with them.
Deontay is estranged from his father, and his stepfather is in a drug rehabilitation program. His mother, Sheila Wallace, depends on him for help.
Deontay, he acts as the big brother, the man of the house and everything else at one time, and his mind is working on trying to protect his mother and his brothers.
Can't go out here. Too little.
But who will protect Deontay Wilson?
He's an exceptional child, all the potential in the world.
Father Matt Foley is literally fighting for Deontay's life, for the lives of many neighborhood children.
What'd you do today?
With a program called SAFE.
Deontay's groups come up.
6 days a week, from dawn into the night, kids come to St. Agatha's Church to learn the simplest of lessons.
Man, don't you push me, fuck. Push it on me, man.
A fight can be settled without a gun.
Y'all better step back, look at it, and analyze this situation. For somebody to end up getting hurt. Because hate on hate equals more hate.
With skits and classes and sports, Father Foley hammers home his message every day.
When are you going to stop? When are you going to say, enough is enough? When are you going to say, I don't want to see Dillard die, or I don't want to see me die? Too much, too much.
I am tired of hearing people say, if we could save one child. I grew up in a neighborhood, an upper middle class neighborhood, they never said anything like that. I'm not here to save one child. We should have, every child should have an opportunity.
But even Father Foley is frightened by what he sees.
We've had 14 teenagers shot this weekend.
What the children see all the time.
The streets we live on here makes Arnold Schwarzenegger's action movies look like a lollipop.
Every morning, children walk through this alley to the safety of St. Agatha Church and School. One morning earlier this year, the path was blocked by a man's bullet-riddled body. The children who found the body were not shocked. They're around violent death all the time. Just a few days later, there was a triple homicide here. Now, how many of you have seen somebody shot? Has anybody seen somebody shot? That's quite a lot.
This boy, they shot him about 69 times.
And you saw that?
Uh-huh. I was right there. When he was dead, they kept on shooting. They just kept on shooting.
I hate, and I know a lot of other people hate to see constantly seeing kids getting killed out there over nothing.
19-year-old Ricky Robinson has been shot 3 different times.
That was like a 357, right there with a 25, 30-06.
And he recently served time for selling heroin.
What's up, little buddy?
In any other neighborhood, he might not be seen as a role model.
Hey, don't y'all go no fuck. Let's stay right here.
But Father Foley has made him a teen leader, a sort of counselor to the younger kids. What do you tell them?
They're like, Ricky. I'm like, what? When you got shot, did it hurt? I say, it hurted me a whole lot. They're like, weren't you scared? Was you crying? I tell them, yeah, I cried. And he's like, you a man. Man's not supposed to cry. And I was like, I'm a man, but I cry every day. My generation is toe up. it's gonna take a whole lot to repair my generation. My generation is just gone.
Somebody told me, he said, well, Ricky's going to tell you he doesn't still carry a gun, but sometimes he still carries it. Is that true?
Again, that's for me, sometimes to protect myself. I feel like nowadays on these streets, if you ain't got no gun, you ain't gonna make it.